Hello and welcome to Pit Lane's Sim Racing. Today I've got a race replay for you from iRacing. Recently, for a little bit of context, I've been in a little bit of a funk with sim racing in general, with just patience of people, and I really wanted to show off this race because it was defensive driving from me and patience from others. At the start, I was a lap slower than these first two guys. I'm moving into second at the start there, knowing that was absolutely critical, as, like I said, in qualifying, I was a lap slower than the guy in first and the guy now in third. So this is the highest position I've been in recently. Now, this is a top split for the time of day. I think it was something like 12:15 lunchtime, and I'm in second place. Very, very mindful. The guy ahead is faster and the guy behind is faster, but I'm really wanting to maximize my chances in the fairest and cleanest way I possibly can. So I've only got eyes for the car ahead, and I'm thinking, I'm sure he's cut just there, I think it was. And I'm keeping an eye on the guy in front just in case he pulls over, and indeed, as we come around this corner, he dabs his brakes to let me know he's going to slow up, and he pulls over. Right, game on. I'm in first place. Again, super aware the guy now in second is faster than me. So I pride myself on racecraft and being fair and being safe. And what I'm going to do here, basically, is try and be as obvious as I can and give my competitor behind me all the work to do, while just trying to remain fair, but I know I need to go on the defensive. Now, I'm going to do my best not to be inefficient with that defensive driving, but again, I just know it's going to come because I saw the qualifying times. I was third by a distance. The top two guys were just miles ahead of us. So out of turn two here, I don't really live in my rearview mirror. What I do is have a quick glance and try and judge the closing speed as we're going down the hill. And I have to assess who it is I'm racing, what he's like, and, you know, is he going to dive for it? And recently, it's been very, very hard to find anyone who will have a door-to-door race without just chucking it up the inside and expecting you to get out of the way. And just there, you see, he's right on me, so I stay to the left-hand side and just cover off the inside of that corner. So I'm not, like I say, I don't live in my rearview mirror. I think that slows you down even more, but I do just glance on the Exeter corners to see where we're at. So now I go defensive down to the hairpin, and I'm simply saying, I'm going here, I'm not weaving, I'm not doing anything. You go where you want to go. He has a look up the inside, and there's some contact there, but I know if I basically park it on the apex, there's nowhere for him to go, as we're ending the lap just here. And I'm just trying to hit my marks. Like I say, I know I'm safe at this point. A tiny glance up to the rearview mirror shows you that. So I'm just driving, trying to hit my marks, trying to be efficient. Again, very aware the guy behind me is faster than me. So I'm trying to just alleviate the pressure on myself as much as possible by thinking braking point, turn in, apex, corner out, how I'm doing it, being as smooth as I can. Look, not overly defensive. He's right there. Some may have gone defensive. Really thinking out of this corner, trying to be efficient, but he was so strong out of this corner. So I'm over on the left-hand side there. I don't feel the threat initially, so I'm just taking my normal line through there, and he sees that he's not going to be able to dive up the inside. As we go around the bottom of the hill, I take a slightly tighter line there, knowing that it's possible for him to dive up the inside. Again, I stay over to the left, not weaving, not doing anything silly, just making it super deliberately known that that is my intent. As we come round the top of the track there and down the hill again towards the hairpin, off we go. And I decide this lap there's no need for me to go defensive. Like I say, be efficient. If I'm defensive driving, I'm trying to be efficient with it, and I'm trying my best to stay ahead on pace. Now, all I do here, I don't weave, I just give him the choice. I'm just showing him that I will go on a defensive line. He wasn't alongside me at any point. The camera angle's a little bit deceptive, and I'm very aware that third place is right with us as well. onto the start finish straight. I'm really trying to spot my exit, trying to get a good exit, but he gets a better one. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to sit here on the inside of the track. You can do as you want. If you want to go down the inside, you can. If you want to go to the outside, you can. And I just brake in a straight line and turn in. There was enough room if he so desired, but he would, you know, I think if he'd have made that work, he would have understeered into me. I didn't chop him off. There was still room, as he is now blocking the 2 cars behind him. That's not me saying he's doing it wrong or anything, but he's in front of them as we come down the hill. And now there's a bit of a gap because he's dropped down to 4th. Now, I knew he and the grey car that's in about 5th were the fastest guys on track by an absolute mile. So I'm thinking, right, let's try and maximize this, because I feel like he's going to be coming back at me at some point in this race. Unfortunately, up through that section, I wasn't very tidy, and it's fine margins in this GR86. Round the corner we go, and down the hill. I was better than the guy in 2nd around that section. Dropping it down into the hairpin, down 3 gears, spotting the exit, and really getting on the power as early as I possibly can, using as much as the circuit as I can as well. It seems that the guy in 2nd was much faster through there than me. Again, really just trying to stay smooth, hitting my points, drive my race, and just try and keep that pressure off me as long as I possibly can. Again, because I'm still thinking at this point, the guy in 4th is probably going to make his way through. And we're just looking back there. The other fast guy is actually currently down in 6th place, I think it is. And so I can see I'm not really managing to pull away, which isn't a surprise, because it is fine margins. You're talking tenths of a second here at this track in the GR86 in the top split. It's so close. You can see the blue car, well, the blue car and the guy who was in 2nd getting into the slipstream back there, and he's having a look up the inside. I'm not looking at that. I'm just still thinking about my lines and what I'm going to do, and really trying to take the most efficient line I can. Honestly doing my best to pull a gap, but it's not really happening, as I now probably have clocked the guys back up into 3rd. Trying not to get a track cut here, because it's super easy to do. Realised at the top of the circuit there, it was suboptimal, shall we say. But again, realising through that part of the corner, I was much faster. So it's swings and roundabouts, really. Coming round the hairpin once again, really trying my very best to get on the power as early as possible to drive up the hill towards the final couple of corners, trying to stay nice and smooth, trying to carry as much speed as I can, opening up the steering when I can, and just trying not to compromise myself, trying not to get the back end out of shape, because if you do, you can bring that traction control in, and you don't want to do that because you'll just bog down horrifically. But I can see I'm not pulling away, so I'm preparing myself mentally. I know it's a matter of time before I come under attack again. We may be around the halfway point of the race just about now, up through turn 2. Really thinking about the exit, trying to be efficient on the throttle, on my steering input, so that I'm not scrubbing speed, and just wanting to keep that minimum speed up as much as I can. Down through the car was bouncing so much through here. Really trying to sweep that line and up the hill, get a good drive up towards the left-hander. Working quite well, as we see 2nd and 3rd now sort of battling, which has cost them a little bit of time, which is good for me. Round the top of the hill, I know this exit I'm generally better than the car that's behind me, so I know I can drive my normal line down the hill towards the hairpin. As we see another look from 3rd place, looking at 2nd there. Me using all the track and then some up the hill. Probably not the best line, but I'm just really trying to get on that power nice and early, because it does matter. 2nd and 3rd, you can barely tell where one ends and another begins, as I'm braking and trying to be efficient through a turn, well, the final turn, picking my exit, and down the straight I go. As you can see just behind me, third place now has the almost inevitable run on second place, and I can see that in my rear view mirror. So I'm thinking, okay, game face, I'm gonna have to go defensive, but be efficient, don't make mistakes, remember your braking points, and just hope we've got trust with the guy. Hope we've got that trust that he sees what I'm doing. I'm not trying to crash him out, I'm simply going defensive when I need to, and it's on him to find a safe way around. So at this point, I knew from qualifying the delta was him about a second faster, and the gap was about 1.1 at the start of this lap. So I knew that by the end of the lap, probably, he was going to be on my bumper. So I'm just trying to put in the best lap I can, trying to remain nice and safe and good with my lines, my braking points, drive my lap, my race, and just try and keep him away from a bumper for as long as possible, because we're heading to probably the final third of the race at this point. And I know, you know, it's a long time, I'll be honest, it's a long time since I've won a race on iRacing. Once you're getting into top splits and stuff, it can become super tough to do so. So it's a long time since I've had a race win on iRacing, and I'm aware he's pretty much right there at this point. So I'm just trying to pick my exit of the final turn, and out I go up the straight, and you can see the gap has really closed down now. I know within a corner or two he's going to be right there, and I'm going to have to be sensible about what I'm doing as we break down for the first corner, and through we go. And as you can see visually, he closes up in that mid-corner around there. He's just got a bit of something I've not figured out with the car around there, but he's much better around turn 2 than me. And down the hill we go. This is a great corner. It's super challenging. It really is to get right. But through we go. I don't think there's any need for me to go defensive here, and I don't. But I am probably thinking about staying to the left-hand side, and I do, a touch. Not much, but just a touch, just to close that off a little bit. And as long as I'm on the apex here, now at the top here, I did get taken out in a previous race when someone went for a gap that simply wasn't there. So I was mindful of that to keep it nice and tight up at the top there. And I go defensive again. I know what I need to do here. It's up to him. Just hit my braking point, park it on the apex, and we're all good. And that's what I do. Lovely. And I'm not trying, like I say, this is just defensive driving. I'm trying to maintain my position. This is for the race win. It would be, I don't think anyone would simply pull over, but I'm not looking to take the guy out. Like, if he gets a run on me, he gets a run on me, and that's fair, you know. You know, I'm not gonna overly go crazy or anything in fighting it. So there he is on my bumper, and again, I'm very obvious, I'm not moving across. You can do as you want, whether you go into the outside or the inside. I'm not weaving, I'm not moving, I don't flinch. I move over because I know he's right over the other side, and he can't get the cut back. I know I'm compromised here, though, because he's had the better turn 1 and 2 line. So I do know I'm compromised, so I'll stay over to the inside here. Again, I'm not moving my car, I'm not weaving about, I'm just like, there you go, mate, this is where I am, this is my shop, this is where I am. And I just stay to the inside, and through here I stay to the inside as well, because I know if I sit it on the apex of this right-hander up the hill, there's not much you can do. And I stay over to the left as well, because, again, if you're on the apex, you're absolutely fine. Now, the big issue is nerves at this point. The big issue is nerves. Now, I feel like I've got a level of trust with this guy. I think he knows that I'm not being an idiot, but, you know, I've got a level of trust that he isn't just going to pump me off. As I go defensive again, brake, nice and in control, and all I do is make sure I'm on the apex. He can go wherever he wants, but my car is right on that apex there. As we go through towards the final sector again, and it was 8 times we had 0 X's. A bit of netcode. He just nudging the back of my car, which is fine. It wasn't going to put me off. Coming on to the start-finish straight again. We'll see if I go defensive. I'm really not sure whether I do or not. I sort of go over to the right-hand side. Am I going to stay over to the right-hand side? I do. Like I say, I'm not weaving about the track. I'm trying to defend efficiently. So when I think there's a danger, I'm defending. When I don't think there is, I'm not. And through here, he gives me a little nudge, which is fine. So I just say okay, and I just sit right on that inside line. And you can have all that left-hand side of the track, mate. No problems at all. You do as you wish. I'm going to brake down here, and I'm going to stay really tight on the inside. And he gives me another nudge there, and I'm just going to stay tight on the inside. There's nowhere for him to go. Up the hill we go. I don't go defensive through the left-hander because there's no need. Through the left and the right up to the top of the track here. He doesn't really go for it, but he's got a decent enough line coming back down the hill towards the hairpin. I don't know if I go defensive. I'm not sure what lap this is. I do go defensive. Maybe didn't need to, but I was worried at this point that he was going to just take a dive. And there we go. He gives me another nudge for parking it on the apex, which again, fine. If it had spanned me out, I'd have been less happy. You know, he's probably frustrated at this point, which I understand, but again, I don't think I'm doing anything bad here. This is for the race win. I'm not just going to give it up. And like I say, I've not swerved, I've not done anything daft, I've not gone all over the place, and I think that was quite a good defensive driving display, if I'm honest. I feel like it was anyway. As we see us come over the line, and there you go. That's my first win on iRacing for quite a while, and it was done in the Toyota GR86, and it was just a replay I thought that you guys might enjoy, because I've been having a bit of a tough time. I don't normally defend like that at all, but it was for the race win. Normally I would be sort of, if you like, sensible and save both cars time, but I knew if he got past, he was a second lap faster. So that's all I think we should be doing more of. Being patient and trying to find that way around. And if you can't get past someone, you know, don't just punt them off. Sometimes it's about having the race, you know. And GG's to the guy. He didn't punt me off. There was some nibbles and whatnot, but there we are. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please hit that like and also subscribe down below. Cheers.